Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Isaiah.
My name's Jules.
Okay. We've never done that before. We're saying nicknames now.
My name's Juliet.
And today, I feel like I'm fucking screaming, so give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna turn this down. Jesus Christ. Today we are going to be reading some Reddit stories and also just talking about why it is that we like horror so much. Because 'tis the fucking season. Mm-hmm. So, let's get the fuck into it. We have a couple of stories that we're gonna read. I don't know, I feel like I've been starting off every episode with like a little fun fact or a little thing. So I'm gonna do it this episode too. I saw an article that said that Utah right now, Salt Lake City is the
just
only...
burped a little bit, so sorry.
Huh?
I said I just burped a little bit.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, she's on the market. Clearly a lot to offer.
Utah what?
Salt Lake City is the only city that's been put forward to host the 2034 Winter Olympics.
Oh.
And we're in the running right now for the 2030 Olympics. Mm-hmm. But there's like 3 other cities that are like being put forth.
You said 2035?
2034.
34?
Mm-hmm. And I thought that was cool because I was born during the 2002 Winter Olympics. And I never saw it, but I guess that like the Olympic Committee or whoever the fuck was in charge was giving out like blankets that had like 2002 Winter Olympics on them to all of the mothers of newborns in the hospitals. And I guess people were like low-key like stealing them from the hospital and like from the mothers and stuff. And I never saw mine. I don't know what happened to mine. I don't think mine got stolen, but if I had to guess, it got put into like storage at my grandparents' house after I was born.
I just never saw it.
Yeah, it either got like thrown away, donated, or like sold, or one of my shit family members like pawned it. I don't know, but all right. So do you want to talk about why we love horror first?
Yes, let's do it. I think I like horror so much because it makes me scared. And I think I like that feeling of being scared.
I agree. Like, I think it's the adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the adrenaline rush without actually being
having
in danger or like needing the adrenaline to be there.
Yeah. I think
it's also just like, I feel like for the most part, like growing up, especially like part of it has to do with like just growing up here.
It's spooky.
Well, I think that there's so much like bullshit of like you have to like there's so much like protection. And I feel like horror stories tend to be more realistic stories half the time than like I'm more not to like whatever, but like I'm more likely to be mauled to death by a bear who ate 17,000 pounds of fucking cocaine or whatever than I am to kiss a frog and it turns into prince or princess, and then we get married even though supposedly the prince was broke the whole time.
Did you ever watch Cocaine Bear?
No.
But
it was based on a true story.
It was about a mother and her kids just trying to survive in the wilderness.
Well, apparently we have a fucking fan. Someone really liked the movie.
I did. I enjoyed it.
Start petting you. But I think it's just fun to be scared. Like, I don't know. It's also like you get to choose where you get to be scared. Like I can watch a horror movie like anywhere.
Yeah.
You could
I
only
don't
get
like
chased at a
haunted
house.
houses though.
Huh?
I don't like haunted houses.
I don't either. And let me fucking say, I'm fat. Okay, fuck was I doing going up? Because the one time I went to a haunted house, like when I could remember it, we went to, what was it called? I don't even know. It might have been Nightmare on 13th.
No, it wasn't.
It definitely wasn't Nightmare on 13th. But they had us going up the most fucking stairs I've ever walked up in my life. And I was like, damn, how am I supposed to scream when I'm out of breath? Also, it was pouring fucking rain. And some of the areas were flooded.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, hey, just so you know, if you get hurt, it's not our fault. You signed a waiver. And I wear glasses. And my glasses kept fogging up. And it was also, they kept getting so wet that I couldn't see. So literally the entire time, I was Anne Franking it through the... Not Anne Frank. I meant Helen Keller.
I was like, you were doing what? What were you doing? Talking about Helen Keller, though.
Wait, what? Where the fuck was I going?
No. That you were Helen Kellering it.
Yeah.
Up the... In the
entire time.
Yeah. Talking about her, though, she was a hero.
Helen Keller?
Yeah. Guys, I went through a phase, like, during the second grade where I would...
twist is she's talking about fucking Amelia Earhart.
They're just all the same women.
Every woman is... I'm every woman. They're all in me.
Yeah. I went through a phase where I would just read a bunch of books about her in second grade. I was infatuated with that woman.
With Helen Keller?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I know, but...
You had so many role models as a Latino woman.
But 7-year-old me loved that woman. Yeah. Anyways.
I meant Helen Keller. Because
okay, we met...
I could not see and I could barely fucking hear and I could barely breathe.
Couldn't breathe.
Helen Keller! Helen Keller! Oh my god! Oh my god! We're talking about... Okay, oh god. Making it so much worse.
Alright. Okay, let's just move on.
Okay.
Anyways, The Conjuring. Let's talk about The Conjuring.
Oh, The Conjuring.
When that movie first came out, it was one of the best horror movies that ever fucking came out, like, that year for a long time. Oh my god. Also, new horror movies, talk to me.
Oh.
So good.
Talk to me. I just saw on Twitter, and I think I told you about it, that they only had a budget of, like, maybe 4.9 million or 4.5 million, and they just hit 90 million at the box office.
Which is fucking insane.
So, and they fucking deserve it. Sophie Wilde, I think, hold on, sorry. It is, like, refreshing to see a non-white horror lead. And I think especially because I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, this could completely be on me, but I think that she is Aboriginal Australian, which is like the Native Americans of Australia in the sense. Like, it's the indigenous people of Australia. And I don't see, first of all, many stories that are told about her from their perspective. It's maybe also partially because we live in the U.S., but also, like, leads. It's the same thing here. You don't see a lot of Native American leads that often. I think that right now there's maybe one Native American actress who is who has not been released or, like, official yet. But if she gets the Best Actress Oscar nomination, I don't think she'll be the first, but she could be the first Best Actress nominee that is Native American. And if she wins, I think she'll be the first Native American Oscar winner ever, or Best Actress Oscar winner that's Native American ever. Which I think is really cool. Because it's like those stories need to be told. And Talk to Me was told in such a unique way. Yeah. And it's such a unique story because holy shit. Also, I'm sick of reboots.
Yeah. I love that, like their interpretation of being possessed was like taking drugs.
Yeah, it was all like so, very like, much so a heavy metaphor on the like effects of drug abuse and addiction. Yeah. Which it was so like it was gory too. Oh, bitch.
Like, I had to fucking look away.
What am I trying to say?
Also, don't watch this if you want to watch Talk to Me, because we're just...
Oh, yeah. Spoiler alert for Talk to Me.
Yeah.
Because we're about to go on one.
When that kid was, like, ripping out his eyeball.
Girl.
I was like, what the fuck? The dog scene.
I was surprised we didn't see a wet spot on that man's pants from him.
No, yeah.
Like, that ghost was a freaky fuck.
Yeah.
That ghost was Christopher Columbus for sure.
Yeah.
He fucked a lot of animals.
Yeah.
You ever say something and then you're like, hey, I'm on camera.
Yeah. Us with Anne Frank.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Couldn't breathe. That was crazy.
I'm so sorry.
Rest easy.
You know, if you get canceled, I get canceled with you. So I just needed to say something.
Yeah. It's like I play that song by Dove Cameron and Khalid. Like, if we go down, we go down together. Whatever the fuck. But it's just such a good movie. Yeah.
I haven't seen the new Exorcist, but I heard that it was good.
Oh, is it out?
I think so.
Oh. I love when movies bring back cast members from years before. Mm-hmm. They did it with Halloween. They did it with Star Wars. Oh. And Scream. It makes me so happy. That is the best way, especially when you're doing like a continuation or a remake or whatever the fuck. Like, that is the best way to honor.
Yeah, give them their flowers. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're making like 3 movies, and this was the first of 3
from The Exorcist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
I could be wrong. I might be thinking of a different like franchise, but I'm pretty sure that they were like, because I don't know. I think this one is called like Exorcist Believer or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then there's one that's like The Damned or something. I don't know. They're coming out with, I'm pretty sure, with like it's supposed to be a trilogy of like new ones. But I feel like The Exorcist too, like that was one of the like staples, and I haven't seen it, so I feel bad I haven't, but like it was a staple of Halloween movies. Mm-hmm. I feel like when we talk about horror movies as a genre, classics, the top 5 are like The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Have you seen that movie? Mm-mm. Me neither. We're talking about the classics, but we've never watched them.
Talking about the classics, it's like books. I know
Pride and Prejudice
and Jane Eyre.
Hey.
My point being, I don't know. Horror classics. I feel like there's like modern classics and like classics.
Yeah.
I think
classics because we like them.
Yeah. Well, so let me talk about the old ones.
Okay.
The Exorcist. Mm-hmm. Halloween, the 1976 version. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm, and I feel like you could throw in Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, and then finally What is it called? I just had it. I don't know. But Scream.
Oh,
Scream
yeah.
was like later though, but
yeah.
I think that they could work. So there's like those, and then I feel like today, like what we can, I feel like Scream is one of those ones where I feel like it borders on being a modern classic because it was 90s era, but I feel like so was Friday the 13th, so it's kind of like, but I feel like Scream is one of them.
Okay, let's stop talking about the classics. What would be your classics? Your top 5?
My top 5 right now, Us.
Yeah, Us, phenomenal movie. Oh my god, I was watching Get Out, and I watched like the first 30 minutes, and I could not keep watching it.
Yeah, because you decided to watch it at fucking 2 a.m.
But the paranoia I had, I was like, this man isn't even like me. Why do I feel like I'm being...
You start scratching like he was in the chair.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele, I think, is one of the best like modern directors, especially of horror, that we like. It is insane, his talent, his mind. And I also love how he always throws issues about class and race in with those stories as well, because truly sometimes it is terrifying being a person of color. LOL. Not to get fucking political and deep, but again, free Palestine till it's backwards. So I think even though I already said it is one of the classics, Halloween. The entire fucking franchise. It's so good. It's just, I don't know what it is about Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie that is so just...
It has you in a fucking chokehold.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because I think you even...
I don't know why
either. You don't know why, yeah. But it's so good. I think it's one of the earliest, like, horror movies that I remember watching was Halloween. I think it was maybe... It's one where she's dead, but her niece is being terrorized by Michael. But it's just so good. Talk to Me. I said 3. I said Us, Talk to Me, Halloween. I can't think of any more right now that are like my classics. I feel like Midsommar and Hereditary, both A24 films, both fucking phenomenal. What about you? I'm gonna set this down and take a drink.
I think for me, the first horror movie that got me real good was the first Insidious. It was like, I was watching it in my mom's laptop because I had bought it from the Red, like, what is it called? The Red Box? And I literally was screaming while watching it. Like, terrorized. And at night, I peed myself. I'm like, this was last month. I'm just kidding.
That was last night. That's crazy.
No, I was young.
I haven't seen that one still. It's on my list.
I don't think I've seen that Insidious since I watched it the first time because of the trauma it gave me.
I guess I traumatized Mac with the second Conjuring because he doesn't like.
Wait, the second Conjuring was like. It was no longer
like
about
London.
Yeah. Okay.
Cause
we can do a day where we just watch all of them.
We should get Mac to watch them with us.
Yeah.
He won't do it. He's like, you fucking traumatized me with that bitch in the room with all the crosses upside down. I'm like, I don't remember showing you shit. Yeah. I really fucking don't. So
yeah. With Julio, he like never gets scared. So my top 5 would be Insidious, Midsommar. I think. Like the first couple of Saw movies, those were literally everything. And I feel like those really truly made you think of how you would get the fuck out. There was like one scene where there's a key in a box and
oh, I know what you're talking about.
And she has to get it, right? And what did it have?
So it was like a weird like accordion or like I don't know, but there was blades on like the thing, and so she tried to reach in to grab it.
Which is so stupid. Cause she reached in and she was trying to grab it, and then she put her other hand in there and she was stuck.
Yeah. And it was like cutting her and she like was gonna bleed out.
Yeah.
But it was just like I don't know, like sometimes when you're in a scary situation you're not thinking.
Yeah.
But that's other bitches, because I would fucking think. I'm sorry, my arm is getting actively chopped the fuck off, and you, like, let me put my other one in the same exact hole. Or, it wasn't the same hole. I'm pretty sure there was 2 on either side. But they're both the same fucking thing. Mm-hmm. So she said, oh, let me put it in the other one, because that was obviously the right choice.
Yeah. How would you break it?
I'd just die. I would not survive.
I don't think I would have the will.
There's, like...
like, to live. Like, it just kill me.
No, like... Well, because also there's rats in half those movies. So you just want to die regardless.
Yeah. What was that, talking about Saw, there was that other movie that we watched, was the Escape Room.
Oh
it's
my
such
God.
a good movie. Nobody talks about it.
Both of them are so good. Bitch. That plot twist, especially at the end of the second one. Escape Room, that franchise.
It was Escape Room? It's just called Escape Room?
Yeah, Escape Room, and then Escape Room 2 Game of Champions, which is where they brought in people who were in escape rooms in other parts of the country or world to do a Game of Champions. And, like, the love of my life, India Moore, was in it. So was...
Oh, yeah. That girl from Teen Wolf.
Yeah. Holland Roden, I think is her name. Something like that. Phenomenal. They did so good. And again, I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, that's a modern horror movie where they brought something new to it. I feel like right now, the only franchise that I said I love Halloween. And I love Jamie Lee Curtis. And that's because I support women's rights and wrongs. Was the last 3, like, of that franchise, the Halloween franchise, were they the best movies? Not by a long shot. They were good. And I think part of the reason is I'm kind of like a masochist where I love gore. It doesn't affect me. Like Mac, if he sees blood, he'll pass the fuck out. But for me, I'm like, I want to reach in and pull shit out with the killer, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really bother me. Because Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends had some brutal fucking... Do you remember that hospital scene? I think the guy got pushed or thrown or jumped from the top fucking story, leg absolutely fucking broken. It was insane. But I feel like a horror franchise or a horror movie that's really doing a good job at making like continuations or sequels or reboots, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but keeping shit fresh is Scream. With like Scream 5, Scream 6, and now Scream 7. I don't know when it's coming out. They're doing such a good job. I feel like we have to also talk about the concept of Scream Queens. I feel like Melissa Barrera, who's the name of the actress that's in Scream, because she always like saying her name with the accent. Her and Jenna Ortega.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega's really
are definitely becoming, and Mia Goth. Honestly, yeah. Are becoming some of the like most prolific modern day Scream Queens. Because they've just been fucking killing it. X, and I haven't seen Pearl all the way through. I was watching a bootleg. I cannot tell a lie. It was really good. So from what I saw, but X was really good.
Yeah.
It's just
it's so like uncomfortable to watch, I feel like. Especially with like the old lady scenes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
And she's like, that woman was in my bed touching me.
There's just something about an old woman trying to get freaky and nasty with you.
Yeah.
That makes me want to.
But it's so weird.
Vaughn.com, huh?
It's so weird because like she was seeing herself, you know, be younger.
Yeah. And I feel like that's also kind of part of the point too. Like it kind of questions us, like, why do we feel as though like age defines like sex and sexiness? I feel like that was one of the things that they had talked about, was like that was the point of making Pearl such a freaky was like it was like a commentary on like age, and especially for women.
Yeah. Halloween Town though.
Oh, if we want to talk about classic, bitch,
we need to talk about Halloween Town.
Rest in peace, Debbie Reynolds.
The girl who cried wolf. Did you ever see that?
On fucking Nickelodeon?
Yeah. So good.
I swear to God, that's the only reason I know the lyrics to Baby by Britney Spears. Like, funny. There's something about... That movie was just so fucking good. And I feel like it was a really interesting take on, like, werewolves. Because I feel like we always focus on vampires. It feels like that's always the focus. There's a shit ton of vampire movies and vampire franchises. And, like, whatever, Twilight. But, like, Jacob being a werewolf didn't... Like, it was only, like, maybe less than half of the fucking plot of, like, Eclipse. And it wasn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know what movie I did see, though? That... a movie that I did see that was really good, that had an idea. I have to look it up. It was on Hulu.
Did you ever see the movie, it has Kristen Stewart in it. And it's like an old horror movie. Or like older, I guess.
I might know one that you're thinking of, but like, can you describe it more?
They like get to this house and it's kind of like a farm-ish. And then there's like a bunch of crows in one scene.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No?
Here, I'll see if I can... Here, you want to look it up. The movie that I was talking about was called The Cursed. It's one of those really interesting... It's kind of like a period piece, but it's also a horror movie. And it has a really unique way of like approaching werewolf stories. It's not the best movie ever. But I was pretty like gripped the entire time. But The Cursed on Hulu is really good. It came out 2021. I also love a good...
Oh, it was called The Messengers.
The Messengers.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? There's another. I love how it's. No, we're not even reading any fucking stories. It's fully just us talking about. But it's so many. Anyways, not to go on a fucking 37-minute tangent.
But let's begin the podcast.
About all the stuff that we love about horror movies. But we're going to read some scary stories for you today that we found on Reddit.
Yeah. I'm going to start off with some 2-sentence horror stories. And then we can jump into the stories.
Okay. Let me pull. Okay.
Okay. The first one is... Also, these might be, like, very graphic.
Yeah, I guess trigger warning again.
Yeah.
We're surprising each other with the stories that we're reading.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't like approved them with each other beforehand. So just a trigger warning for like scary horror spooky shit.
Yeah. As I slit her throat, I looked in her unblinking eyes and realized too late that she wanted to live. I knew it to be true because mirrors don't lie.
Oh my god.
That one's so sad. Please take me inside, I screamed, grabbing at the 2 men who took my child. Sorry, ma'am, children only, they said, as they continued loading up the last lifeboat on the ship.
Damn.
So it turns out, this one's kind of bad. So it turns out you can feel everything that happens to your body after death. I suppose I should be flattered. My husband still finds me attractive after all these years.
Not the necrophilia bitch.
It's fucking insane.
Oh my god.
Battery at 1%. I looked at Earth one last time before my suit ran out of power. That's so sad. Okay, some of these are not scary, but...
Some of these just make me really depressed.
Yeah. It's been almost a decade since I last saw my mother, and she still reminds me every day that if I misbehave again, she'll take my hearing too.
Oh my god. I was like twins, and then... Because it's been 10 years since I saw my mom too. Dead mom jokes. I'll be here every week, every other Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Wait, I don't get it. What do you mean?
Me?
No, I don't get the thing.
Because she misbehaved, so her mom fucking blinded her. It's been 10 years since since the last time I saw my mom.
She'll be taking hearing too. Sorry. I'm sorry.
These ESL bitches are a different level of slow. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
You're doing a really good job of reading.
Thanks. My grandmother died giving birth to my mother, who died giving birth to me. As I feel my consciousness slip away, I pray that my baby is a boy.
Damn.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's depressing. Damn. Yikes.
Daddy made me sit in the chair while he tied a string from my tooth to the doorknob. Before he slammed the door, he said, "Tell me where Mommy went, and we can stop doing this." You're scared.
Did I scare you? Why does that happen every time I gasp?
Oh my god.
That's fucking sick and twisted. Oh my god.
I look at my father's head on the wall, knowing that he'll finally be proud of me today. Then I look back at the terrified hunter and sink my antlers into his chest.
Period. That's Bambi getting revenge.
Good girl, I murmured.
I'm wet.
To my beloved dog, as the first tears slid down my face. I didn't think her little teeth would hurt this bad, but it's been 3 days since I fell, and there's no need for us to both starve. Would you let Nala start eating you?
No.
Me neither.
I'd kill her before she gets to eat me. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Well, Dookie...
Dookie got
two
teeth.
Could try.
Dookie.
We would both starve. If I ate him, fur, and bone.
Yeah. Dude, that dog's old as shit.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, this one's so bad. I kept reminding the little boy that he was going to meet SpongeBob. He eventually stopped crying and even helped me tie the brick to his feet.
Oh my god. SpongeBob. That's so fucked. Oh my god.
Thanks for the gold, kind stranger, I said as I slowly ripped out his dental implant. Okay.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I've always had the supernatural ability to know where someone was by looking at a photo of them. So it painted me to tell the mother of a missing child that her daughter was in several different places.
I think I've heard that one.
Yeah?
That would be a good fucking movie.
Yeah, that would.
Plot twist, the mom is it's her mom. They're looking for her sister. Girl.
Oh my god. Truth be told, I didn't divorce my husband because of the countless photos of his mistress's tits I found in his phone. I divorced him because they weren't attached to a body.
Oh my god.
That's all the ones I saved.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay, this one I saw someone talk about, or like supposedly it's a really good story, and it's called Pen Pal. My name's Hamari, and I don't know how to start this off. I'm a 17-year-old who lives in Japan. When I was around 14, I never really went outside because I had no real friends, and my mom was always busy at work to take me anywhere. So my mom got a pen pal. It was through an online forum that I met her. Her name was Alice. She was from England, I think. She was 15 at the time, and I was 14, as I just said. Let me read my first ever email sent to her. Mind you, my English was horrible. Dear Alice, hello, my name is Hamari. I'm your pen pal. I'm 14 years old and from Japan. I use a translator for some words. I like udon noodles and my favorite drink is lemonade. I want to know about you. How are you, Alice? What's your favorite color? And food and drink. Reply to me, please. Thank you. As you could tell, Mom really wanted me to ask questions. Over time, we talked more and more often. She told me her name was Alice, though I figured that from her email. She loved the color brown and her favorite foods were shepherd's pie, and she also loved lemonade. A few emails later, and this is an email from Alice to Hamari. Hi, Hamari. I wanted to tell you about this new show I watched. It's called Pretty Girl Yui. You live in Japan, so you must know it. It's an anime. I love the show. They're magical girls. Do you like this show? My favorite character is Nami. Her hair is like mine, blonde. Oh, my mom told me to show you a photo of me. Here. See attached file. Send me a photo of you as well. I remember that first photo she sent. She had held up the peace sign with her pale hands. She had very pale skin, fair, straight blonde hair, and even though she was 15, she wore pigtails. I'm pretty sure she was a weeaboo or something. The most recognizable thing about her, though, was her big, piercing brown eyes. Her room had a pink wallpaper with posters on it. Anyways, this was the first time she ever talked about anime, and when I was 14, I too was obsessed with it. That's probably why my classmates ignored me. Well, we started talking even more. I love Naruto. Sakura is so whiny to Naruto and mean. Whoa, I like this new anime. That's basically what we talked about. I'm glad I talked to her because my English became so much better. One thing disturbed me though. We started frequently sending photos to each other, and in every photo, something seemed off. Her once vibrant pink walls in her room had scratches, then turned into holes. It seemed her lights were removed as well. Her blonde hair got frizzier and had knots in it. Her pale skin turned ghostly, and her wrists and fingers were so skinny, it was like there was barely any skin there. Remind you, those things got worse over time with the photos. Anyway, my mom got a higher paying job, and as a gift, she gave me an anime convention ticket. To Alice. I got an anime con ticket. It's even in my city near my school. So cool, right? Oh my god. Ask your mom or dad if you can go and meet me. I'm so excited. Please ask. Update me ASAP. Best luck. Hamari. Subject, yes. Hey, guess what? My mom said yes. I'm so excited. Well, where should we meet? Will you go in a cosplay? Will your mom come? I hope not. It'd be weird. I want to meet some Japanese boys. They're so much better than boys in my city. Boys in England are ugly and don't like anime. Well, anyway, please email me back. Okay. Please email me right back. Because where should we meet? My mom booked a plane ticket to my city's name. Come on, I'm not saying my city. See you soon, IRL, in a few months. Anyway, we also started sending cute little items from our countries around that time. I still have this badly made UK flag. I sent her some Hello Kitty charms, anime posters, Pocky, cute stuff. Well, anyways, here's her last email. Oh, also the writing is getting more and more improper and weird in this one. I'll show you. This is her first email. And then this is the second email.
Okay.
And then the third one, this is the last one.
Oh.
And it's like a little like disheveled, and there's like weird letters and like symbols and stuff that shouldn't be there. But she said, "Sorry, my mom said I can't go. I'm crying and she's not letting me come out of my room, and she's being so mean and smiling. Help me. I want to go away and leave forever. See attached file." I was heartbroken. I didn't really interpret any of her text. I was too busy whining over her cancellation. My online best friend canceled on me. I finally opened the file, and this was the last image she sent as well. It was her in a dark room. There was a table in the background, but it was pretty blurry. There was some sort of object on it stained in red. I could barely see through her crap webcam. She was even skinnier than before, basically bone. Her hair was thinning, her eye bags were large, and all through that, she smiled at the camera with her piercing brown eyes. My mom never really saw any of these images. When she heard Alice cancel on me, she didn't seem surprised. You know, she's an online friend. They aren't too trustworthy. I forgot about her after a few months, but then a package arrived labeled...
Forgot? How could you forget? Like, okay, but whatever.
Well, probably because like she had stopped like messaging him back.
Yeah.
But then a few months...
Like that's so concerning.
I know. But I guess maybe like at 14, like...
Yeah, you're just like, what am I gonna do?
You don't put two and two together. Yeah. But then a package arrived labeled to Himari-chan. It was a large brown box with a few crudely drawn anime characters on it. Oh, did Alice finally send me something? I thought at the time. I desperately wanted to open it, but my mom had a rule that I couldn't open any packages until she got home. So I waited. I was so impatient, you know. My mother got home and she immediately cringed. "What's that awful smell?" I looked at the box. I don't know. I've heard England has weird foods. My mom nodded. "Open it." She handed me a box cutter and I smiled. But that was my last smile. That smell came from the box. It was Alice. It was Alice's body. "What the fuck?" I screamed. My mom peeked over to look and she immediately gagged. Alice was in a fetal position, dead. Dead as can be. I don't know how, but she got even more fucking pale. I remember her eyes, those brown eyes. The whites of her eyes were gray and her pupil was so small. She had bruises all over her face and arms. I pulled up her white dress thinking it was a doll. I was so naive. There was a gash in her stomach. Her organs, I don't fucking know which ones, oozing out. How the fuck did this get through security? Just, what the fuck? When I go to bed, I see that face. That dead face, those brown eyes, that ratty blonde hair. I remember it, and I don't want to. Oh my god. Okay. So, again, fucking chilling. Mm-hmm. A little upsetting. I guess those random fucking dots, that's Morse code.
Yeah, I was gonna be like... Yeah.
And I guess the Morse code reads, "Help me, and they're coming." Who the fuck is they? Anyways. So that's...
Wow.
The first story.
Okay, I think I only have one story. Okay, and the title of it is "My Wife's Obsession with the Painting is Ruining Our Lives." Also, if I'm like... it's because I forget to breathe when reading, okay? So, my wife Samira had been working in an art... I can't say it.
Oh my god.
I'm so sorry. Restoration? Okay, for years, and was finally promoted to the head of her department. She always had been a talented artist, and the science behind it was an added bonus in her mind. I was so incredibly proud. It was her dream. At first, for the first year, she was ecstatic, even when she worked 60 hours a week. Even as she was restoring famous pieces of art or pieces so old that any mistake or misinterpretation would be quite literally destroying history. Her words, not mine. She was truly happy. During her career, we developed a tradition. I'd meet her at the museum for lunch, and she'd gush about her work. If she could safely take a picture, no flash of course, she assured me, of what she was working on, she'd probably show me. But a month ago, something changed. I first noticed it in eyes as we were eating dinner. She stared off into the distance, an unreadable expression on her face. She looked more exhausted than I'd seen her in a long time. "So what are you working on?" I tried to break the silence. Usually she volunteered the information freely and with excitement, but she had been quiet on this piece, almost avoidant. "You may have heard of this one." Her face finally lit up. blind...
It's the Mona Lisa.
Blind portrait. I shook my head, asked if she could show me. For the first time, she told me no. But maybe I'd recognize it when she was done with it. You're going to love it when you see it, she replied, slyly. It wasn't one of their pieces, she informed me. It was from another prestigious museum that she was assisting. And their team tried to finish it, but couldn't. Not the way it deserved, she added. They'd failed. The way she described the piece was with so much affection, I could see why she was pouring so many hours into it. But not long after, she began to change. She already grueling hours transitioned into her practically living at the museum. When I went to meet her there for lunch, she'd ignore me. Days would pass without me seeing her, but in the instances I did, I could tell something was eating away at her. She looked exhausted. Her once beautiful hazel eyes had been the color of honey with flecks of green, blues, and browns. They were the first thing I'd noticed about her when I met
Clarkson. Her. Sorry, I had to.
They had begun to look duller and bloodshot, almost as if they were receding into her head. They were ringed with dark circles, and I could have sworn that she was even losing her hair. Over the next week, I must have asked her how she was doing 1,000 times because she seemed to always have panic written all over her face. But she never answered. Eventually, she confided in me the source of her stress. They say I'm not moving fast enough. I'm not putting enough into it. It's never enough. She looked at me, her eyes red, but tearless, as if she had already been crying for hours and had nothing left. It needs to be ready. It needs to be seen, but I'm running out of supplies, she added, after studying me for a long moment in a way that made me feel oddly uncomfortable. I was incredibly pissed off with her employer on her behalf. Samira has always been one of the hardest workers I've ever known. I'm not just saying that because she's my wife either. She puts her all into every single piece of art she restores, and I never heard of them trying to rush her to that extent before. The next morning I woke up covered in a series of small but deep cuts. The sheets dotted with dried, sticky blood.
Why did you pause? Dried, sticky. That's so funny.
Because I was trying to breathe.
Dried, sticky. That's so funny.
Dried, sticky.
That's a good one. I know. Come. Fucking blood.
A small but clear, bloody handprint on the bedroom door. Not long after, she brought it home. Something I knew she was not allowed to do. I learned enough from her years on the job to know that depending on the medium, the pieces were only supposed to be exposed to certain kinds of light, environments, and temperature. She had always treated the art she worked on with so much love and respect, so when I saw her walking to our old and dirty shed with it clutched to her chest, wrapped in a filthy-looking sheet, I knew something was very wrong. The next afternoon, I'd got off work early. I'd hoped to have a serious conversation with her that night, figured I'd do some projects around the house while I planned out what I was going to say. I turned on the garage light and jumped. She was standing there in the dark, motionless, even though she should have been at work. "Babe, are you feeling okay? Did you come home sick?" "Where's the saw?" She spoke as if she hadn't heard me, her voice strained, almost like she'd been screaming for hours on end.
No.
If I hadn't seen her speak the words, I would have never guessed the sound could have come out of her mouth. I was so surprised that my thoughts of some sort of intervention were forgotten. "Which one?" She stared down at her hand in silence for a long moment, flexed her fingers. "Circular," she rasped. "Do you want help?" She cradled the saw in her arms, turned and left without answering me. She was down there all day. I could hear the blade whirring as it struggled to cut through some hard material, even from the house. She finally made an appearance at dinner that evening, but she was pale and walked in swaying steps, her right hand bundled in thick bandages. I felt sick and guilty at the sight of blood staining through it. She refused to let me see her injury and screamed violently at me when I told her we needed to go to the ER. I'm not one to meddle in her work, but I'd reached my breaking point. I decided I needed to talk to her boss, Leslie. She and Samira had worked together for so long that we knew her pretty well. We even had dinner with her and her family a few times. So I drove up to the museum and I asked for her. I wasn't sure what I expected when I went up there, a heated argument, a confrontation, but the moment she saw me, she pulled me into an awkward hug. "Alan, I'm so sorry we had to suspend her. How is she? We were hoping she'd get some help." The confusion I felt must have been written on my face because her expression changed to match my own. She didn't tell you? I shook my head dumbly, thoroughly thrown off by the chain of events. Samira, she spent every moment working on that horrible painting. We're not even sure where it came from. It isn't one of ours. She said it was from some other museum that you were helping out. I attempted to pronounce it a few times before finally giving up. She frowned. No, we aren't partnered with anyone right now. We've got too much of our own work to take on anyone else's. That's why we had to put her on leave. Yeah, she was neglecting her work here, but it was the effect that it had on her that worried us. That piece, it was disgusting. I don't say this often, but that wasn't art. Art has soul. Something to give you. The piece had nothing to give. Oh my god, I feel like I'm running out of breath. That piece had nothing to give. It only wanted to take. I drove home angry and dumbfounded that my normally honest to a fault wife had been lying to me for weeks. I called out gently for Samira, but she wasn't in the house. I approached our storage shed turned workshop to check on her, but she wasn't there either. I approached the painting. She had made no effort to hide what she was doing. It was like she didn't even think it was wrong. Where do I even begin? The painting itself was an atrocity. I looked up blind portrait since she refused to show me after her concerning behavior. I felt I needed to know what she was working on. I didn't find any one specific piece with that name. Instead, that a blind portrait was exactly what it sounded like. One drawn without the artist looking, maybe as a creative exercise or to practice fundamentals. But no, the painting my wife was working on was immaculate. Someone had clearly crafted it with their full vision and attention. It was exquisitely drawn down to the smallest of details. I'm no expert, but the smoothness, the way colors were blended, the detail of the clothing and the hair against a backdrop of swirling reds, it was captivating. I'm no expert, but felt it would have been a masterpiece if it hadn't been so goddamn disturbing. The subject, a woman, was beautiful, or rather she would have been, if the flesh above the exposed teeth wasn't torn in such a way that it almost resembled a playful curling of the upper lip. The teeth, the top row, since the bottom jaw was totally gone, a stark white against the background, that were so detailed, so realistic, roots and all, that they looked like I could reach out and touch them. I realized why the portrait was called blind. The young woman, she had no eyes, rather just dark holes in her skull, where they should have been. The twin streams of blood and damage to the delicate skin around them. The art focused on oh my god, I'm gonna kill sorry, I'm not gonna kill myself, sorry. I feel like I keep reading ahead and I'm not reading, you know? Okay. I'm gonna start that all over again. The twin streams of blood and damage to the delicate skin around them that the artist focused on in painstaking detail suggested that they had been there at some point, though. The longer I stared, the more I felt tempted to reach out and touch it, to complete it. I felt myself striding towards it, clawing at my skin, reaching for my eyes. She looked so incredible with a pair of her own. I don't know what that frog was for my throat, but... What finally snapped me out of it was when I got close enough for the smell to hit me. It was so overpowering that my eyes began watering profusely, breaking my eye contact with it. I couldn't help but gag when I realized how exactly Samira had been restoring it. The reds of the background behind the woman, they had the odor of copper and faint decay of old blood mixed with paints. Long bits of white bone with cut marks had been... What is that?
Haphazardly
added to fill the missing portions of the frame. The teeth. There was a reason they looked so realistic. Exposed roots placed lovingly, completing where the woman's should have been. Samira had flashed me an odd but otherwise perfect smile just the night before. I wondered how many others had tried restoring the painting. What exactly had she meant when she said they failed? Leslie's words about the painting only taking were fresh in my mind. I waited up for Samira for hours that night. I eventually heard her come in and the sound of our ancient sofa protest as she fell into it. "Babe," I whispered cautiously. "Babe." "We need to talk." She ignored me, her back turned, and eventually I headed back upstairs. I should have never left her. I should have tried harder to get her help. She was gone again in the morning. I searched for her in the house before finally finding her standing in the shadowy corner of the dark shed. She was painting what appeared to be a crudely drawn, swirling face with her fingers. Even in this scant light, I could tell what medium she was using to paint with. I tried to go to her. Clearly something was very wrong, and she needed my help, but mid-step I found myself turning to approach the painting instead. As much as I hated it, as much as it sickened me, I couldn't get it out of my mind, ever since I'd seen it. I needed to see it. I needed to complete it. I choked back a sob when I moved back the fabric covering it. I still hate myself for the fleeting pang of jealousy that I felt. It was finished. There was a new addition since that last time I'd seen it. A pair of perfect hazel eyes.
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That's good.
That is good.
That was good. That'd be a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Like a renowned artist slowly losing it, trying to...
Oh my god, Frida Kahlo.
We're just bringing back all these women from history.
Oh my god. Frida Kahlo rips out her own heart and puts it on the painting.
Mm-hmm.
Or the heart of, like, that guy. Was it Dali? Yeah. No?
Was it?
I don't think so.
I don't know. But it was the other artist.
It was a man.
Mm-hmm.
Diego Rivera. My bad.
That makes sense.
I'm not gonna put the headphones back on.
Okay.
Should I read one more?
Yeah.
Then we can... I want to read this one, and it's a two-parter. So I think that's a good one to end on.
Okay.
So the title of it is... We've been trapped in our auditorium for 6 hours. We're starting to get worried. I'm sorry if this isn't very coherent. I'm really fucking scared right now. I'm typing this out instead of my English paper, since I don't think it will matter much if I do it before 11:59. And that's so real.
Yeah.
Girl, what the fuck is it with 11:59? Answer me that riddle. Riddle me this. Like the title says, we've been stuck inside for about 6 hours. We spent this time calling our worried family and friends, telling them what little we know. I thought maybe I would post here just in case someone knows what's going on. Maybe we aren't the only ones experiencing this. First off, you can call me Micah. Maybe this will help set me apart from the other stories here, because time is of the essence. I'm a member of a college theater department, and we were getting ready for our production of Something Rotten tomorrow when our director got a call. This isn't unusual, especially right before a show, but we all knew something was weird when she walked back in the auditorium, locked the door, and told us all to sit down. Okay, we're all gonna be here for a while. I just got off the phone with the college president. There's some sort of contagion going around in the area, and for right now, we need to hunker down and wait it out. So, we're back in quarantine for the time being.
COVID.
God. And I love Vermont, but it's the season of the sticks. Like, I'd end it. Respectfully, if I ever have to go through another quarantine again.
We're not making it.
Not at all. Suicide pact? Put her there, brother. Of course, we all started to panic, but our director quickly called an end to it by putting us back to work. We had nowhere else to be anyway. We all assumed it would be a few hours. We would all get tested or something and be sent home. We just treated it like COVID. Some of us even making light of the situation. No one is joking anymore. 2 hours in, someone in a hazmat suit came in. They set us back down and had us approach one by one as they took a blood sample from everyone. Heidi, our lead costume tech, fainted when approached with the needle. They didn't speak to us despite giving us short instructions. Mrs. K, our director, was growing more worried with each person they tested. Finally, they left, leaving us alone again to wonder what the hell was going on. With nothing else to do and our phones dying, we decided to set up a movie on the CYC. I'm assuming that's like projector. Mm. When we got bored, we started having sing-offs, then dance-offs, then played games from Whose Line. We almost forgot that we were in danger. We first noticed something was wrong with Mel when he started having trouble breathing. This dude worked out
your cousin?
Oh. This dude worked out every day and carried heavy set pieces like they weighed nothing. He was not one to tire easily. We decided it was time to try and settle down. We all rushed around trying to claim one of the couches in the black box. At this point, Mel seemed to feel a little better. He joined in on the antics, physically picking up Cade from his favorite couch, much to everyone's dismay. We cheered and egged them on as they playfully wrestled. Cade outmatched by a mile. Just as we thought Mel was going to take the couch, he stopped fighting. Cade tried to egg him on a bit to get him going again, but Mel just heaved a few times before hacking up a blood clot and collapsing. He convulsed forever. Mrs. K ordered us out of the room, but none of us moved. We were in shock. He was fine just minutes ago. Some people vomited. Some people swore. Some people started sobbing. Me? I just stared. I was frozen to the spot. I was the last one to leave simply because I didn't have the will to move. This was real. This was scary, and we were trapped here with it. We still aren't entirely sure what the symptoms are, so this might be something different. But I think not knowing is worse. We keep asking what happened to Mel. If he's okay, does he have the virus or bacteria or whatever this thing is? Mrs. K doesn't know anything, and the hazmat people won't talk to us. You would think we would be told something, but right now it's just all theories and fear. After the convulsions stopped, he was moved into one of the classrooms. They won't tell us if he's alive or dead, but Finley snuck a peek in before they closed the door. Apparently, he was bleeding from his eyes, nose, and ears. We aren't holding out much hope. This is when we started calling around. No one seems to know what we're talking about. Parents are saying it's not on the news and it's not on any sort of social media. We've been posting a lot for a while. We've been here and no one has seen it. My mom said it might be some sort of Halloween thing. Something set up by the school and upperclassmen to mess with the freshmen. But this is too elaborate. And it's a school night. We have class tomorrow. So we emailed our professors. It's pretty late, so no one's gotten a reply yet. But we hope they can confirm that it's just a prank or that it's not as bad as we think. So far, everyone feels fine. We're just sitting around now waiting on an all clear, but we don't think that's coming anytime soon. We have made some makeshift beds and sleeping areas. Mrs. K is trying to get us some food besides the snacks in her office. We're all tired. We're all starving. We have water fountains, but we're worried about it being contaminated, so we're hesitant to drink from it.
And they're still stuck in the auditorium? Okay.
If anyone has any idea what could be going on, or if you heard of something like this happening, any information you can offer would be amazing. Right now, there are 38 of us. Mel is in classroom 124B. We're all alone and scared. Please help. And then there's an update, a second story. Also, 124B, our classroom is 123 on the second floor. And B is the second whatever. Just a thought. Anyways, we're still trapped in here. No word on when we're getting out, but they did finally bring us some food. They have to feed us through a hatch they constructed out of the lobby doors. It wasn't much of anything, but some bread, meat, and cheese. We ran out quickly. Mrs. K says they're bringing more later tonight, but we haven't heard anything since around noon today. We found an old phone charger in Mrs. K's office. It works to like half the phones here, but the others are scrambling to find a cord before their only line of communication is cut off. I was lucky. I bring my laptop charger with me everywhere, so we have the select few who need the C charger covered too. But that also means I can keep updating the situation from inside. First of all, there's been no update on Mel. We keep asking, but no one will tell us anything. They've sealed off the classroom so we can't go look for ourselves. Some of our parents have stopped answering our calls. My mom is still picking up. I hope she can come up here. She told me her and Dad were on their way. Some of the other parents are coming too, so we hope that we can be out by tomorrow. We hope so. This morning we were roused by Mrs. K and a few other hazmat guys. They had us line up in the black box in alphabetical order and they took our names, ages, and date of birth. They then made us spit in a little test tube thing before they sent us to wait in the auditorium. After everyone was cataloged, Mrs. K decided to do a run of the show. We happily obliged. We were about a quarter way through the first act when the double doors in the back of the theater flung open. 3 men in hazmat suits filed in, followed by a man in a suit wearing a mask. He was tall, almost towering over our entire department. Though he was wearing a blue paper mask, I could tell he was smiling. He addressed us as a whole, making sure to stay a safe distance away. "Hey everyone, how are we doing?" I don't know what it was about him, but I didn't like how he talked to us. He spoke to us like we were small children, and he was trying to find a way to dumb it down. I know we aren't doing too good right now, huh? Then he took a breath before continuing. Well, we want you all to know that we are working on the situation, and we are very close to getting it under control. His eyes lost the smile. I could tell he was about to deliver some not-so-great news. Be that as it may, as you know, this virus is nothing to play around with, and when one of us gets infected, they have to be removed to protect the others. Emerson's hands shot up, catching the attention of the man. What about Mel? Is he infected? Is he okay? I'm not completely sure, but I think I saw one of the hazmat guys take his name down. The masked man smiled again. Mel is sick, yes, but he is not infected as far as we can tell. But that's not the problem. One of you is infected. Now, before we panic, here's what we know. The pathogen is not airborne. It can only be transferred through bodily fluids. So as long as no one swaps spit, we're in the clear. His attempt to joke fell on deaf ears as we all eyed each other. He cleared his throat to recapture our attention. Anyway, don't drink after each other, don't eat after each other, disinfect the water fountains and water bottles. Be extra diligent. I finally decided to speak up. So who is it? Who's got this virus or infection or whatever? The masked man sighed and shook his head. I wish I knew, sister. But the tests that we have...
What the fuck?
I thought this was a guy the whole time. I wish I knew, sister. But the tests that we have are in their early stages. We may have to wait a few days. Emerson raised his hand again. Mrs. K moved to stop him. What are the symptoms? We need to have something to look out for. Mr. Suit fixed him with a look, and for a moment I could almost see the facade slip. At this current moment, we aren't entirely sure of the exact symptoms. But don't worry, we will know for sure once your blood and saliva samples come back. There will be a few more specimens gathered as we are covering all of our bases. Mr. Suit turned to once again address us as a whole. And if any of you feel sick, we want you to immediately alert your teacher or one of these nice men in hazmat suits. They are here to help you. Please do not hesitate to ask them for help. He concluded his speech by clapping his hands together. Well, I must go. I will be in contact with your teacher, and we will get you all out of here shortly. And with that, he left. Mrs. K tried to finish the run, but it didn't work. How can we focus on our lines when we've been left in here to die? So, after that, we just sat around, playing on our phones and computers. Some of us did homework. Some of us slept. I made notes. How many hazmat guys came in, what they were carrying, what they did. They didn't ever talk around us. They barely acknowledged us until we approached them directly in that time. Here's what I've seen. Between the hours of 10 and 12 p.m., 3 hazmat guys came in at 10:15 carrying nothing, left at 10:20. One hazmat guy came in at 10:57 and went into room 124B. He hasn't come out. 4 hazmat guys came in at 11:34 carrying medical equipment. They left 5 minutes later. 2 hazmat guys brought us lunch at 12 on the dot. This time it was just potatoes. They left once we were all fed at 12:06. Between the hours of 12:07 and 5 p.m., I was exhausted. Mr. Suit called Mrs. K at 12:45. She seemed upset, won't answer when questioned. 2 hazmat guys brought in more medical equipment at 1:30. They went into 124B. They left at 2. Mr. Suit spoke through the door at maybe 3:30. We weren't supposed to hear it, but she started yelling. She came back at 4. 7 hazmat guys gave us all a little white pill at 5 o'clock. Mrs. K said it was an antibiotic. They left at 5:30 after turning out the lights. We are all scared to cough now, or say we don't feel good, or seem like our energy is down. We need to get out of here. We need to figure out who it is. I don't want to die in here. Please, if you have any information, it would be very much appreciated. I will keep everyone updated. And there's no update. After that, that's where the story ends.
That's a good story.
I like it. I think that I'm confused because it's like, how do they know one of them is infected if they haven't run the test? Because he said the tests were going to take a couple of days to get back to them.
Yeah.
But it's like...
Also, there's like no free will.
Yeah.
Like, Okay.
They're just stuck there. I feel like I've seen like shows like this. It's so good. Also, a terrifying throwback to how COVID was.
Yeah.
But I'm not triggered anymore. That's what therapy's for. I think that's it for this episode because we're both tired.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the stories. I hope you enjoyed the tangent we went on about horror as a genre. I will say I really hope that moving forward horror gets the flowers that it deserves, because like there's just been so many times where like Toni Collette in Hereditary, she should have received an Oscar nomination or a Golden Globe nomination. So should Lupita Nyong'o in Us. There's just so many times where horror movies are so good, and people sleep on them. And I think that's one of the reasons that like Halloween is such a fun time, because we get to enjoy those and like open people up to them, because every other month of the year it feels like, I guess, people think that they can't enjoy them. But anyways, if you like this video, subscribe. If you like this podcast,
if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. Please leave a comment saying what your favorite horror movie is. And if you have any other ideas for stuff that you want us to talk about on here, please let us know. My social media and Juliet's social media will be linked down below. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a good Halloween and spooky season. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.